Hello everybody and welcome back to Stalemate Simulator, where we are still locked in a stalemate over here. We're still struggling to get across this river. I mean, we're not even really making that much of an effort, if I'm honest. We are lacking a large amount of supply in the region, and in order to alleviate that, we do have a plan in place. Unfortunately, that plan will take quite a large amount of time to put into action. That is the unfortunate reality here. We need to get carriers online, and we also need to get... Let's see here. Where are the... Apparently transports aren't in this? Okay. Transport planes are not in the air, but we could maybe do some air doctrine for that. Aerial resupply is something that we are very interested in doing. So the question here is, what doctrine has to do with aerial resupply? That's mass bomber formations. Let's see. This is... If we go up... Can I scroll up? Thank you. Strategic destruction. I think operational integrity is probably the one that we're actually most interested in. Ground support, air superiority, agility, air support, mission efficiency, yeah. I think this is the one we're actually interested in. So we're going to probably switch off of strategic destruction over to operational integrity once we can. We can't currently for a little while, but that will be absolutely fine. We really need to get more supplies into this region, and it's not like we have a shortage of supplies being created. We have a shortage of supplies being transported across the ocean. Now, in terms of our naval supremacy, we're doing pretty well in the Atlantic. There's a few areas where we're not quite as capped as I would like to see, like Labrador up here, Hudson Bay. Interestingly, in, what is this, Newfoundland Sea? Yeah. And the Caribbean. There's a few locations over here where we could definitely use a little bit more in terms of naval supremacy. But a lot of that is simply a deficit of submarines because of the very large, very rapid expansion we have done of our naval supremacy in the Atlantic. So that is to be expected. By the way, we don't care about the end date. Just for the record, the end date will be what the end date will be. So this will just go until I feel like we can reasonably shift over into Kerbal Space Program by saying we have built a essentially global government. Whether that be that we've conquered places like Free India, or whether it's simply that our faction conquers the world, I haven't decided yet, but it'll be something along those lines. We'll get in there eventually. Hello, machine-assisted encryption. Is that all of our upgrades? Not quite. We've got one more. Fantastic. Now, I would like to start working on producing, if we can hop down over here, I would like to start working on producing, and I'm going to switch over this, let's see here, we want to show carriers, and for right now, converted battleship or cruiser hulls. We lack one or more required modules. We'll need to create a variant here. We could simply use best match. And we're going to require... We could do hangar space, deck armor, or secondary battery. And for these carriers, I don't really want them to be engaging in any real sort of combat. That's not the point. We can grab some anti-air in there, I suppose, and some radar. I'd like to have higher level engines than this, but this will do for now. And let's see here. This is tier 2, and this is... Technically, I think the dual-purpose secondary battery is better. We don't have the naval experience for this right now. That's fine. We're still working on the tech, so we're going to, I think, wait to get that online until our tech is in a better position, which it should get there pretty quickly. We're tearing through these technologies. So that should be great. Carrier Hull 2 will be finished up in 8 days, so I'm really not very concerned about holding off on that. Besides, we have such a big naval deficit right now that I'm okay with just kind of chilling on that front. I would like to open up a real actual front in the Americas. That would be a nice thing to do, for sure. But we need to get our naval supremacy up to really see that happen. We can modify our government, however, and I would actually be interested in artillery attack and defense, naval max range factor, 8th generation chance. I think we'll take the artillery attack and defense, honestly. I don't think that'll really help us with breakthrough over here. I mean, our core issue is our supply, right? We already know that. And the plan to alleviate this supply requires quite a lot more technology than we have. So this is going to remain a stalemate for probably a while over here. There's our carrier hull finishing up. That's great. There's only 2 more carrier hulls to work on here. That's 87 days. That's really not that bad. And in terms of other technologies in the actual naval tree here, cruiser hull is going to be finishing up. So that should be absolutely fine. In terms of our engineering here, I want to investigate a few things. Yeah, in the rocket engines is all well and good. We're definitely going to want to have advanced rocket engines. Going into Kerbal Space Program, that is going to be an important thing. We can continue working on our improved oil processing and our fuel refining. That's all things we can do. There's our cruiser hull finishing up. That's nice. Now, in terms of this, I think that is literally everything that we can research currently, minus the 1944 carrier hull that we can't currently do in this tree. So with that being the case, I think we're going to go ahead and grab in the air doctrine, we're going to switch over to force rotation. Because I'm pretty sure that the ground support there... Now, does that help resupply, or is that only on the close ground support mission? It's unclear, at least to me. Alternatively, we've got strategic bombing, air superiority, bomber defense. I mean, we can get a lot better at bombing. There's no doubt about that. The battlefield support here. Dive bombing, direct ground support, air superiority, air wings. Yeah. I mean, we haven't really been using air wings. Air support mission, efficiency, close air support. What I'm really looking for is a way to improve the supply. But not seeing that, I honestly think we want to continue down the bombing tree here. Okay. We'll go. We'll do that. Now, these guys here, this tactical bomber wing, they're currently, I believe, set to close air support. Let's see. Bombing enemy buildings, infrastructure, and industry. I'd like them to bomb enemy units, but I don't think that's a thing that we can really do. We'll just switch them over to strategic bombing and see what we can get. Of course, our air superiority over here isn't the greatest, again, because of our lack of supply. We are up to 2 nukes. We don't have strategic bombers to utilize them, or the air superiority over here to drop them. These are all things that are being delayed by our need for carriers. So we're going to get some carriers online. And as soon as we have those, then we are going to be in a much better position, I hope. Now, we are currently producing transport planes. That's these here. But I want actually to move the priority here, certainly above our other plane types. Now, we're still working on a lot of light tank factories here. I'm actually going to put the transport planes up above this light tanks here. Now, we are working on our production efficiency for both of these lines, so that's all well and good. Our production efficiency cap is over 100%. That's interesting. Also, our intelligence agency is currently capped out. Now, I'm interested in checking in on Inca and seeing how our communism is doing here. It's at 3%. Fantastic. Up in Newfoundland, we would love to get them on our side. That would be amazing. We are, I believe, currently building network here. Yeah, that's at 38%. That's going to take some time. There's no doubt about that. So once again, the stalemate is on many, many fronts. Now, to be clear, it's not because we're basically guaranteed a stalemate from this position. Not at all. It's because I'm incompetent. Let's be completely honest about that one. However, this is definitely coming together nicely. So the civilian factory here will be finishing up. We are working on a lot of military factories. However, once we get through these military factories, we're going to want to start working on converting some factories from civilian to military. We have a lot of these still in queue, so it's not really a concern for right now, but maybe in a few episodes that'll start being a concern. We're also currently short on steel, of all things. Fascinating. Okay, if we're short on steel, then we are going to immediately begin expanding our iron ore mines. I was under the impression we still had about 1,000 of that to spare per month, but no. No, we do not. Okay. Oh, it's because we're exporting over 5,000. Well, that'll do something about it. How do we stop them from exporting? Maybe it just gets automatically pulled when it's not high enough or something? I don't know. We're exporting more than we need, though. So we're currently working on carrier hull there. There's nothing else in here to work on. We can definitely, however, work on our various trade interdiction things. So we'll get to work on that. That'll be fine. Here's some heavy fighters. Well, heavy fighter 1 anyway. Now, I'm actually kind of interested in going into jet fighters at this point. I think that'll be a good thing. Convoy sailing will be finishing up in 2 days. That's fine. Not too concerned about that. I am noticing that this fleet is docked. Oh, of course. This is our... You know what? I want to select all of the submarines here. And I want to create a new task force with them. And yeah, we do not want these submarines in here. Now, these destroyers are on fleet assistance, right? Or on naval invasion support? I think. Active in regions 1. We'll have to look at that. What are these guys active in? They're currently docked in Africa. However, if they're these guys. If we... Yeah, these guys are the naval invasion support fleet. These guys, what is their mission? Because they have 99 destroyers and 99 submarines. So what exactly is their current mission? Let's see. The Eastern Seaboard? No. No, it is not. Okay. What is highlighted here? Is anything highlighted here? I don't believe it is. It says that they're active in a region, but I don't actually believe that they are. We'll remove that region from them. We'll select these 99 subs. We'll move that into a new fleet. And then I would like to move that fleet into probably the Mediterranean, actually. So we'll move that up over here, and we'll set these guys to patrolling the central Mediterranean. Excellent. We do definitely want to get control over Madagascar here so that we have additional rubber coming in. However, this will be fine for now. And then if we go back up into, not the South Atlantic, but rather the North Atlantic theater here, and select Let's see here. It was these guys. Let's get rid of their submarines. And this is just 95 destroyers. These guys, we are going to set to be... We're going to want them to have carriers. And I'm actually going to set there to be 99 carriers here. I don't expect that this fills up in any sort of speed. This is massive overkill on the carriers. But I also want there to be some battleships. 99 of those. And I do want there to be an additional 99 submarines in this carrier group. And let's see here. That's everything that we're currently making or planning to make. Excellent. So these guys are going to be our carrier group. Once we actually have the ability to have a carrier group. That'll be helpful. Subsidiary carrier role. Sure, we'll grab that. This should be fine. Strategic bombers will be finishing up in 14 days. And yeah, you can see here, we are definitely lacking submarines in a lot of these locations, and making additional fleets doesn't help. But I just wanted to make absolute sure that we control this supply route in full. I want to also put up some over here in the Indian. So, to that end, we're going to grab this task force. We are going to split it in half. We are going to select these lads. We're going to bump them into a new fleet. We're going to enable their automatic reinforcement and such. But then we're going to create ourselves a new theater here, and we will call this the Indian Theater. That's not how you spell. Indian Theater. Okay, there we go. Perfect. We're going to have them patrolling in the Red Sea, and there is going to be 99 of them. Excellent. We're also going to grab from here. We're going to split this in half, bump this back up to 99. Did I do that with the last one that I split? You know, I'm not sure. I don't believe I did. Bump that up. This one too, actually. All of these should be at 99 in terms of their strength. Or their max strength, specifically. Their current strength could be basically anything at this point. But their max strength, other than a couple of these, should be at 99. 3 of 99, 11. Yep. This one needs to be increased. Okay. Looks like we're good. Fantastic. So I'm going to grab these guys. I'm going to split it in half. I'm going to bump this up like so. We're going to select these guys, bump them into a new fleet. We're going to stick them into the Indian. There we go. We're going to do all of that. Fantastic. And they are, of course, going to patrol the East African coast. We're going to do one more. I also want to control the Mozambique Channel here. Now, there's some trade that happens over here. There's no doubt about that. But right now, getting rubber off of Madagascar is quite important to us, actually. So, to that end, we'll take these guys, split them in half, bump this back up to 99. We'll select these guys, make a new fleet out of them, and we'll just stick them into the Indian Theater. And we will turn those on and bump this up to 99 as well and stick them into the Mozambique Channel. With that, we should, in theory, be getting our supplies from over here. I hope. Now that does expand our naval, our naval zones a reasonable amount. That does mean that we need a lot more subs, but that is okay. That is absolutely fine. Now, as far as our research goes, our carrier hull is going to be done in 37 days, so I'm very, very happy about that. We're going to be able to make our final carrier design and upgrade all of our designs quite soon. That's going to take some work to get all those upgraded, but that's still going to be good. Now, we don't have everything patrolled in the Mediterranean, but these are certainly less important. We'll expand to them a little bit later on. Okay, let's go ahead and grab Tactical Bomber 3, I think. That'll be a pretty important one. Wonderful. What all are we producing that's outdated? The 36th battleship? Yes, we expect that. That is 100% expected. We're still heading over to the Mozambique Channel. The real question is, how's our steel doing? The answer, not as well as I'd like to see. We will continue expanding our iron ore mines. Now, this is only going to give us 24, but that's okay. I'm hoping that we can deal with these exports. That would be nice. I don't really see a way to do it. However, this is fine. We are running at a steel deficit, and we expect that for now. However, I'm hoping that we're going to get a nice rubber. Are we actually getting this rubber? Delivering 31 by sea, using 13 convoys out of the 13 needed. Okay, noted. Well, that's something anyway. Okay, so it looks like we have solid control around the African coast now. So that is a good thing. There's still a lot of fighting going on up over here, and in the Caribbean and the plain over here. This is all to be expected, honestly. The Labrador Sea and Hudson Bay is also a little bit challenging for us. But once we really get our submarines online there, most of these are just super attritioned. And so once we get submarines sent out, I do wish that it prioritized, or that there was a way to prioritize where the submarines went, rather than having to manually move them around, based on essentially where the need was greatest. And the way to define that in this scenario would be essentially where they need the most. Or perhaps where they have the lowest strength. That would be another reasonable way to determine that. As it is, it appears to send it kind of at random, but filling out particular fleets before it fills out others. So, it's not a huge deal. It's just, it would be convenient. It looks like our light tanks are fully underway now, and we are ramping up transport production. That is, of course, a big part of the reason why we are having such a large steel deficit, is because we are putting a lot of it into light tanks right now. I'm actually going to cut this production line down to simply 10, honestly. I want to produce no additional light tanks for now. We can actually cut back our mechanized production. There's no doubt about that. We'll cut back mechanized. We'll cut back motorized as well. I think improved anti-air is fine where it's at. Yeah, I think this is completely fine. We're going to have a big rubber deficit, though. There's certainly no doubt there. And we're going to need to do something about that rubber deficit. We can just continue bumping up our order from Malaya, of course. Something like that for now. We'll have an additional rubber deficit very shortly. But we can get some from Malaya. That'll be fine. And hopefully like this, we are not going to be having too much of a steel shortage. Yeah, we're not. Okay. There we go. And let's go ahead and research our next technology, which I think... See, this is air superiority, interception, and air wing mission experience gain. Okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and grab logistical bombing. This is 100 air. Yeah, air experience is fine. I'm not concerned about spending air experience on this right now. In fact, it's probably for the best. How are we doing on carrier hulls? 1 day away. Fantastic. And there it is. Okay, let's grab that last carrier hull. 87 days, and then we can get our navies set up once and for all. Now, we're not going to retrofit all of our existing ships. they'll get sunk slowly over time, and we're going to just produce the new ships. It'll be completely fine to do it that way, I think. It is, however, pretty much time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, I believe we're going to start production on our carrier fleet. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.